I'm back in my Create This Book. This is episode 29 of my Create This Book series by me and Moriah Elizabeth. Today I'm going to be doing 3 more prompts in this book. I literally have done so many of these prompts already. I've been working on this book since 2022. I only have so few prompts left and I'm going to finish this book. So like and subscribe, grab something if you want to create along, and let's create this book. The first prompt of the day is to create a nature page. I immediately had an idea and I knew that I didn't want to just create one scene of nature. I wanted to create 4 and do all 4 seasons. So I quickly scribbled up a little doodle that told me nothing, and then I grabbed out all of my color swatches for my 320 new Ohuhu markers that I got. It's finally time for me to use them for the first time ever, and I'm going to be doing it to create something that I usually don't create. I'm going to make little landscape scenes using Ohuhu markers. This is really difficult for me. I always outline things with a thick black outline before I fill it in. I'm used to things being like a coloring book page, so for this section I'm trying to do everything without an outline and make it look a little more realistic, which was really difficult for me. I've only done landscapes using Ohuhu markers a handful of times before this, so this is going to be a lot of learning experience. This took me an hour to create this whole little page here, and I don't think it should have taken me that long, but I learned a lot from it and it was really fun to try something new. I always try to remember that with these prompts and with this book, it's supposed to push me to try something that I haven't done before, or to learn something, or to just be creative. So I try not to put too much pressure on it, but here's how the first landscape turned out. That one's spring, and now it's time to move on to the summer landscape. For summertime, I always think of the beach, which was a little bit hard to draw at the moment because I'm really missing warm weather. I'm at the point in winter now where I'm getting sick of it, and I'm ready for spring, I'm ready for summer, I'm ready for it to be warm again, for the colors to come back into the world, and for me to be able to go outside again and see the sun every day, because I'm over it already. But for this one, I wanted to do a sunset beach, so I quickly drew that up. That one was a little bit easier because there weren't as many details in the background with the trees. I definitely struggle with the trees the most. I don't know how to make things have form unless I do harder lines, so trying to keep it a little more vague and fuzzy is really hard for me to make sure that you can tell what everything is. For this fall landscape, I struggled the most because I wanted to do a fall landscape with a whole bunch of colorful trees and make little mountains in the background, but I feel like I lost a lot of the form and it kind of ended up just looking like a really colorful blob. I still think you can tell it's fall, especially with the other landscapes, but now let's do the last landscape, which is winter. For this one, I wanted to do a snowy landscape, but I didn't want it to just look like a blank white page, so I decided to use the power of art and take some creative freedom and use a lot of colors in this one to try and make it look like a snowy sunset. So I added in some pinks and oranges and purples to try and make it look like the snowdrifts were highlighted by the sun and to make it look really pretty and warm and magical, and add a little bit of a soft glow to the winter. That way I didn't have to think about how winter actually looks and how it's actually just really cold and gray and sad. So I tried to make this one make it look pretty and magical instead. Added a whole bunch of sparkles to every single one, of course, and here's how they all turned out together. I actually think I did pretty good, especially for not doing landscapes a lot. We've got our spring, summer, fall, and winter landscapes, and I think that they look so good. Comment down below which one of these turned out to be your favorite. I think my favorite is probably the spring landscape, honestly. I just think it's so cute. But now we're gonna go to the next prompt, which is to create a different drawing and draw something that you've never drawn before. So I've drawn Pokemon before, but I haven't drawn every single Pokemon, and I was feeling inspired to draw some. They're never in the stores around us, but the other day there were actually some in stock. It was amazing. It was a miracle, really. My husband loves Pokemon cards and they're never there, so I kind of have adopted, loving Pokemon a little bit. Growing up, I would get some of the cards like as a little treat from the store, but I was never really into the game. I didn't play a lot of them. I didn't watch the show a lot. I was just kind of vaguely familiar with it, as I feel like a lot of people in my generation were. So I do know a little bit about Pokemon, and I recently came across this picture of these adorable little Mews hugging, and then the card says that like the little move on the bottom is I choose you, and it's just too cute. So that's been in my head a lot lately, so I thought that it'd be really cute to draw that little picture that I found of the Mews hugging, and it reminds me so much of my cats because Mews mews are obviously inspired by cats, mew. Sounds like meow. So I decided to go ahead and draw them, and they are so cute. And then I wanted to draw one more Pokemon, and this is one I discovered just this last December. There's this one called Alcremie, and it's like a play on alchemy and like ice cream or like dessert, So they go together and mash it, and it's this cute little fluffy strawberry looking pink little Pokemon, and I love all things pink and cute and dessert. So I felt like this Pokemon really resonates with me. Again, I don't actually know what they do. I don't know what kind of type it is. I don't know anything about that. I just know that it's cute and I like cute things. So I decided to draw Alcremie as well, and then it was time to cut them out and put them into the book. So this was really fun to draw a little Pokemon, and my husband loved that I chose to draw them. He was like, "This is so cute." And I was like, "Yeah, they are cute." That's how I pick which Pokemon are my favorite. So then after that, it was time to move on to the next prompt, which is to create a food page. I had a lot of fun with all of these prompts and pages, but this one actually turned out to be my favorite out of these three. So for this one, I at first thought about making kind of my last meal. Like if I could only have one more meal, what would be in that meal? But I honestly only eat the same 5 foods, so it would have been really boring. So instead, I decided to do a little breakfast themed page because I felt like that would be really cute. And as I started coloring it in and coming up with ideas and drawing things out, it became something really cool, and it let me experiment a lot with the Ohuhu markers that I got and create something new. So I really like how this one turned out. I'm excited for you guys to see it at the end because it's definitely my favorite. I was feeling very inspired to create this day. If you're ever feeling super uninspired and burnt out by creating, then let me tell you, take a break. It actually makes a difference to stop and pause and let inspiration come back to you. I looked at the rest of this Create This book, and before when I did that and I was just creating all the time, I looked at these and I was not excited about it. I had no ideas. I finally just came back to it, looked at this book, and now I have a whole bunch of ideas for the rest of the book, which granted was only 12 more prompts. But let me just say, inspiration really does come back if you give your brain some time to breathe. So sometimes don't force creativity, don't be discouraged by art block, maybe listen to it. Nobody's meant to be creative all the time. It can be really exhausting to your brain. So sometimes it's good to take a little bit of a creative break or be creative in different ways. That's really random, but that's definitely something that this taught me because I loved the prompts in the book this time and I was really excited about it. So I started creating my breakfast foods. I drew out my matcha first because I love matcha, just like every other 20-something-year-old girl in the world right now. And then I went ahead and colored in the egg. And when I did the egg, I decided to make it really fun and colorful, which turned all of these around. I decided I wanted to try and experiment with color a lot in these drawings. I love art that uses crazy pops of colors that normally wouldn't be there to make the art just look extra pretty and fun. I added in lots of pinks and yellows and purples to just add in different colors everywhere. Where you can see that the most, I think, is definitely the egg because it had a lot of white space. So in the white, instead, I used a lot of different colors in there and it was really fun. I also feel like you can see it a lot in my strawberry pancakes here. I decided to add in a whole bunch of yellow highlights first to make sure that I laid out all of my highlights and also to make sure that you could actually see the yellow when I was done, because with the Ohuhu markers you can always go darker, but it's a lot harder to go lighter. So I decided to put my lightest colors down first, make sure I knew where I wanted those to be. Then I kind of added in my pancake yellow color and then went over top and added in a whole bunch of pinks and blues and purples to try and give it that look that I really love. Of course, I also added in a whole bunch of sparkles, and then I cut out all of my breakfast foods, and now it's time to put them into the Create This book. I love how all of the breakfast foods look separately, but I especially love how they all look in the book together. I think it's cool that I overlapped them a little bit. So we've got the strawberry pancakes on the left, and then we've got our croissant, our matcha, and our egg. I think this page turned out so beautiful. I loved to experiment with the color, but let's take a look back at the first prompt of the day, which was to create a nature page, where I made a nature landscape full of Ohuhu art, where I made the 4 seasons of spring, summer, fall, and winter. Comment down below which one of these seasons turned out to be your favorite. I think spring is definitely my favorite. Next up was to create a different drawing and try drawing something you have never drawn before. So I chose to draw Pokemon that I've never drawn before. I did cute little Mews and then Alcremie as well, and they turned out so cute. I just love adorable and cute pink Pokemon. Next and finally was to create a food page where I made a whole bunch of colorful breakfast foods and experimented with my new Ohuhu markers. I loved doing these prompts and I think they turned out so cool. I'm so close to being done with this book, so like and subscribe to see me finish my Create This book. We have done so much together and there's only a couple more prompts left to go. Only 3 more episodes until I'm done. So again, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss me finishing my Create This book. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!